What's good, y'all? Rich Sosa back in a building with another banger. Now, first things first, before we go ahead and get started, I gotta go ahead and say thank God for another day and another opportunity. Now, as y'all can see from the looks of the title and the screen, today I put together a very special build with a nice name today. Now, as y'all can see from the looks of the title and the screen, today I'm going to be showing y'all my personal two-way three-point post scorer build on NBA 2K23 Next Gen, and this build is actually going to come out to a pure three-point shooter. Now today we're going to be making this build out of the small forward position, but when it comes down to the breakdown, we're going to be able to get anywhere off rip from 78 to 83 badges. Now we're also going to be able to get sharpshooting, post scoring, and lockdown takeover. Now when it comes down to the actual animations and abilities out of this build, we're going to be able to get pro contact dunks as well as pro dribble moves. And then moving on to the attributes, the ones that we're going to be able to get a 100 plus for is going to be the post control, driving dunk, the 3-point shot, ball handle, perimeter defense, as well as our steal. Now this build, it really reminds me of Kawhi the Claw Leonard, and I'm telling y'all, this is probably one of the best small forward builds that you can possibly make. Now I just want to say thank you to everybody stopping by and showing your support. So if it's your first time coming through, be sure to hit that sub button if you're new. Smash that like button, turn on post notifications to be a part of the Rich family. But more so than anything, I would really appreciate it if everybody commented down TG for thank God and where you're tuning in from, and I most definitely will be sure to hit y'all back with a response. Now as you can see from the gameplay with this build, we're going to be able to do a lot of things on the offensive end, but this build is really going to be special on the defensive as well. So let's get started with the breakdown. We're going to make it out of the small forward position. Now when it comes down to the body settings, the main thing with this build is that we're going to be making it at the height of 6'9" today. Now when it comes down to our weight, I'm going to go with 202, and then for the wingspan, put it to 7'4". Now the body shape can be picked based off your own preference. I'm going to go with builds, and now from here, we're all set to go with the breakdown of this build. So let's go ahead and first get started with the close shot. So I'm going to go ahead and put this all the way up to a 69. Then when it comes down to our layup, I'm going to go ahead and put this to a 67. Now our driving dunk, I'm going to go with an 85. And then when it comes down to our post control, max this out to a 99. And right there, we're going to get a total of 18 badges. Now we get a good amount when it comes down to the post scoring end. I like pro touch with slithery, but for tier 2, I'm looking at limitless takeoff with fearless finisher, and then for tier 3, silver posterizer. Now this is what we're going to look like for this area of the build. Now keep in mind we will be able to get contact dunks. Now once we go ahead and get into the shooting, I'm going to go with the mid-range shot of a 71. Now when it comes down to the breakdown of the three-pointer, I'm going to go ahead and put this all the way up to an 86, and right there, we get a total of 19 badges. Now for the free throw, I'm going to go with the 71 here as well. And as you can see, when it comes down to the badges that we're unlocking, I think we have everything more and needed, especially in order to boost our shooting percentage. But the main badge out of the shooting that I'm focused on is going to be limitless range. Now I think when it comes down to the inside as well as the out, this is looking like a pretty solid build, especially with the high post control. Now when it comes down to the playmaking, I'm going to go ahead and put my pass accuracy all the way up to a 75. Now when it comes down to the ball handle, go with an 86, and then when it comes down to our speed with ball, put this to a 75 for a total of 19 badges. Now when it comes down to the ones that we're able to unlock, I like ankle breaker and hyperdrive. For tier 2, I'm happy with quick first step on Hall of Fame, especially with a 6'9" build. And then when it comes down to tier 3, I'm looking at killer combos, unpluckable, as well as handles for days. Now as far as for the offense on this build, we have everything needed in order to be effective, all the way from driving, shooting, and playmaking. Now with the defensive end, I'm going to go with an interior and put this all the way up to a 67, 86 when it comes down to my perimeter, 85 when it comes down to our steal, And then once we go ahead and get into the rebounding and the block, go with the 75 right here. And then for the defensive rebound, put this up to a 70. And right there, we're going to be able to get a total of 18 badges. Now look, we have everything that we need. We get post lockdown, box up beast with glove, also challenger, chase an artist and interceptor. And then for tier 3, we get anchor and rebound chaser. Now I think that this is one of the very best versatile builds that you can make, especially when it comes down to the build name. Now with the physicals, I'm going to go with an 82 when it comes down to our speed, 77 when it comes down to the acceleration. I'm going to skip over the strength for now. As for the vertical, I'm going to put this to a 75, put the rest into our stamina. We're going to be able to hit 90 and go ahead and throw the rest of our attributes into your free throw. And right there, we're going to be able to bring it up to a 75. Now, before we move forward, take this into consideration. If you buy your own boost for this build, that's going to be a +5 towards all 4 areas. Now, you're also going to be able to run with a teammate that has on Hall of Fame floor general. That's going to be another +4. Now, the better we play, our stats are also gradually going to raise. And then once you pick your 2 takeovers, that's going to be a +10 towards 2 separate areas depending on which ones you pick. So look, we get the sharpshooting, the lockdown, as well as the post scoring. Now to get the most out of this build, the first takeover that I'm going to go with is going to be limitless range. Now the second one, I would pick extreme clamps, or you can even go ahead and pick advanced post moves. Power backdowns is another takeover that I would like. Either of these is a good option to run with, and even if you wanted to, you can go with the extreme clamps and the post scoring, and I think this is another solid lineup to run with. Now let's go ahead and check out the build to make sure that we made it correctly. And if you followed along, we should be getting these 3 comparisons. I love that one of them is Kawhi Leonard, Chris Middleton, and as y'all can see, we have created the 2-way 3-point post scorer, which comes out to a 3-point shooter build. And you can even consider this to be a catfish because of that 99 post control. Now let me know in the comments, did you recreate this build how I brought it to y'all, or did you make your own version? Now however you decided to go about the takeovers, make sure you add in the boost, and I'm telling y'all, you're going to be able to see the true potential of this build. Let me know down below, what are y'all thinking about this archetype? From here, let's get into the breakdown of the badge layout. So when it comes down to the finishing, the badges that I like are going to be Fearless Finisher, Limitless Takeoff, and then for tier 1, I also like Slithery. Now I always tend to go with Pro Touch as well, and then since we're able to unlock Posterizer on Silver, I'm going to go with this as my core badge, and then we have 6 more remaining badge points. So you can go with Fast Twitch. I think this is going to be a solid badge to run with, but if you wanted to, you can go with Giant Slayer, or any of the post scoring. Now I'm going to go with Back Down Punisher, and then for the second one, I'm going to go with Silver Dream Shake. Now when it comes down to the shooting, starting out with tier 2, I'm going to go with Agent 3. I also like Green Machine, and then Space Crater on Hall of Fame is going to be essential to break ankles. Now from here, I'm going to core Limitless Range, and then we have another 6 remaining badge points. So as you can see, I'm going to work with Amp, and then for the final 3, I like Midi Magician, and I'm also going to go with Volume Shooter. Now here's going to be the jump shots that we can pick and recreate from. And honestly, we have a good selection to choose, especially when it comes down to making custom jump shots. Now if you want to, go about this based off your own preference when it comes down to the badge layout. Now for tier 2 on the playmaking, I'm going to go with Quick First Step on Hall of Fame. And then moving to tier 1, I like Hyperdrive with Ankle Breaker. Now tier 3 finally opens up. I'm going to go ahead and put on Core Hall of Fame Unpluckable. We have 6 badges to go from here, so I'm going to go with Handles for Days. And if you were to throw extra badges towards this area, we're going to be able to get killer combos as well. So if you wanted to, you can change any of the tiers of badges already, just so that way we're able to get more out of tier 2 and tier 3. Now I'm just trying to give y'all an idea of what this build is going to look like moving forward. And then for the defensive end, I'm going to go with Interceptor on Silver, Gold Chase on Artist with Clamps, and if you want to, you can throw in Challenger. Tier 3 is unlocked, so I'm going to go with Anchor. And now moving on to tier 1, I'm going to go with Box Up Beast, Glove, and then for the final badge, choose anything based off your own liking. I'm going to go with Post Lockdown, And this is what the badge layout is going to be looking like. And I just want to say thank you to all of you who did make it this far into the video. Now look, if it was your first time coming through, be sure to hit that sub button if you're new. Smash that like button. Turn on post notifications to be a part of the Rich family. And last but not least, more so than anything, comment down TG for thank God and where you're tuning in from. And I most definitely will be sure to hit y'all back with a response. But with all that being said, man, I got one last thing to say. Rich out.